Here we go, an install video. Anti-Rock sway bars on a JL Wrangler. Alright, so I read the directions and I forgot what they said. So I'm gonna start with taking the wheels and tires off to get access so I can see what I'm doing. My neighbor's dog's over here. Let's go get my dog. Hey Roxy, let Chase come out and play. And there they go. Alright. Two 18mm wrenches to disconnect your sway bar end links. Ow! That really hurt. Alright, let's put see the damage I did a while back. See how that's wallered out? I actually broke this link a while back and I made that sleeve. And as you can see, it is all scored up on the inside, and this is really something I gotta fix. So this has been loose all this time, and it pops and while I'm going down the road. So we're fixing that today. The only difference on this side is you have a flag nut instead of a nut. So you only now we gotta go under the Jeep. 15mm. Take the two bolts out and drop the sway bar. That is the factory sway bar. 18mm on this side, 18mm and a flag nut on this side, 15mm bolts hold it in. That's all there is to it. I'm gonna go up here and double check my directions and see what they said. All right, so now yeah, press these bushings into the mount here for a sway bar. All right, directions say blue Loctite on these threads here. So I got red bottles. One has a blue label, one has a red label. I'm gonna guess this is a blue. Yeah, it's blue on the inside. That's how it works. That one's at 40. As you can see, the mounts are installed on both sides of the Jeep. I didn't have to do any work grinding any metal or anything. They pretty much went right in there. In some cases, you'll have to actually grind a little bit right here to make room. And if you have Rubicon, I think you got to modify your skid plate. Just a little bit of cutting though, nothing big. Mine fit perfect. Now here you take your silicone, you put it right here or some kind of lube. Pretty close, let's get a measurement. 3/4 of an inch on this side, 3/4 on both sides. Now I'm gonna tap them with a socket, make sure I've got the bushings fully seated. Directions don't say this, but to make sure I have an accurate measurement, I measured 3/4 of an inch on both of these rods. But you're measuring to this bushing, so to make sure the bushing is fully seated, I took a hammer and hit this deep well socket, which is a 32mm, and I put it over, and you can obviously, plenty of room, you could use a 30, 31, probably like a 28 or something, just to clear this shaft here. And I gave a good whack to make sure the bushing was fully seated, double checked my measurements, both bushings are fully seated. So it is an accurate measurement, 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Now we can put the arms on. Now, put these on. All right, that matches the other side. Now I can put the bolts in. With blue Loctite on this, we're going to put these in here. These will secure the arms to the sway bar. 9/16 on both of those. All right, so you're putting these on. They tell you from Antirock to set them at 10.5 inches first, and then from there you adjust them to what you need. So when you go to put these on, one side's left threaded, one side's right threaded. Anytime you're working with a bolt like this, make sure you put an even number of threads on both so that you have some adjustability in there. So I started mine with 10 rotations of each one, and that's my starting point. And then I'll build the other side the same, and then I'll make my measurements and I'll adjust them accordingly from there. Right there, 10.5 inches. And now I'm building the bottom assembly. The important thing with the bottom here is that those bushings in between right there are hat shaped. So you want to make sure the hat side goes on the outside of the end link here. So right here, there's a bushing on this side, there's a bushing on this side, and the hat portion goes outboard on both of them. For the time being, I am installing the bottom side that way because that's more straight up and down. It's getting dark, so I'm gonna put it together now. I mean, the chicken's already roosting over there, so all that noise you're hearing. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it down now, put the wheel and tire back on, and if I have to, I'll take it back off tomorrow when the sun's back up and adjust it. For the time being, I think I'm good with this though. As you can see, that is all I got left for daylight. Now, tomorrow when the sun's up, I'm gonna drive it on the through the ditch, flex it out, and make sure I don't have anything binding. The idea there being, you want to flex it out, make sure your brake lines aren't going to stretch too far. Make sure everything's clear and good, there's no binding. You do not want the sway bar to invert. If it inverts, it is going to destroy a lot of stuff on this Jeep. So you got plenty of room going up. You do not want it to come all the way down and it gets straight and then it flips back this way. That's when it breaks stuff. Really easy installation. If not for me walking back and forth trying to get tools, if I had a garage and had everything handy in one spot, I would probably would have done this about a half an hour sooner. So
the next day,
when I first put the end links on, it was getting late in the day I was doing it, and I was rushing, and I did not put the lock nuts on. I had to take the links back off, put the lock nuts on the links. Double check my measurements. My lengths are good, so ran the lock nuts down and secured it. It won't move now. One later. Either way, I'm not even halfway down with the arm yet, so I'll probably, if anything, my lengths might be too long, which is better than too short, because I am going to add some lift to the Jeep in the future. But hey, save that for later. There you have the install of the front Jock sway bar.
1 week later,
I'm driving with this new sway bar. I can't even explain to you how this is possible. This thing has sway control. I mean, I'm going down the road 55, 60 miles an hour, taking winding, curvy roads, and I'm eating the turns up. And, I mean, you slightly feel a little more body roll, but barely. I've driven this Jeep home with a broken sway bar. So, I know what it felt like with no sway bar. I mean, you tap the gas with no sway bar, and it feels like it's going to pick a tire up off the ground. I think I broke the driver's side years ago, or about a year or two ago. This thing drives amazing. Absolutely love it. And I've only done the front. My understanding it would get even better when I do the rear, but the rear will come in about a month or two. I'm gonna do it at the same time I do my lift, so if I do gotta do any cutting, grinding, or welding of anything, I'll have time because I'll already be having everything taken apart. But hey, I'm loving this thing. This is awesome.